Famous Brown TV show will hit you like a soul explosion.
So you're watching Famous Brown TV show, and I have a special guest today. I had to have a guest with me today because I'm going to talk about black history, and I need a man of God to slow me down, to shut me up when I need to be shut up, because I'm going to talk about Lolly Dolly and every doggone body in black history that did good and did bad. So this is Father Bayo.
Thank you, my beloved brother. Thank you, Pastor Preston.
All right, before we get the show started tonight, we're into Black History celebration. And Father Bayo said, yeah, we get it once a year. We got 1 month out of a year. So we got to be appreciative of what we got. And maybe we might come up with some ideas of why we got it that way. But before we get the show started, we're brought into your home by D&W Fashions. They located inside of Jefferson Davis Flea Market. Go by and see my friend Wayne Mason. He'll give you a discount on pretty suits, sharp shoes, nice hats, and he even got ladies' pocketbooks now. And he just got in a shipment of Steve Harvey's suits. And go by and see him. He's going to give you a discount just because you say, I saw you on TV. Also brought into your home by Queen's Soul Food, located at 5156 9 Mile Road, where you can go get you some pig feet, some chitlins, fish, chicken wings, collard green, yams. Wait a minute, I keep on talking, I'm going to leave the show.
You're making me hungry already right now.
And especially for Father Bayo, and I want him to tell you about his organization, how to get in touch with him, and maybe he'll invite you to some of his Zoom broadcast on Saturday morning.
Thank you, Pastor Preston, my great brother. How do I compete with the great sponsors that are sponsoring it? Anyway, again, I am Father Bayo. I'm an ordained married Catholic priest. That's why you hear the word Father. But also Father is attached to my real name when I was born. So Father Bayo Adrian, an ordained married Catholic priest with the African American Catholic congregation. Yet I am here in Richmond. I have a ministry foundation called the International Family Center for Jesus True Parents Consciousness. And you know, we are always so busy doing the family work, the work of bringing all humanity into understanding that, hey, brothers and sisters, get with the original folks, which is the true people who believe that God created man in Africa. So my ministry is about taking people back to the original identity of who we are, the original purpose, and our shared destiny. As you see, Pastor Brown is back. He's a busy man. Everybody wants him.
See, one thing I've always done, and even though we're in the studios, I try not to miss any phone calls. Anybody that call me, I respond, I answer, and that's why I don't turn my phones off. Because if somebody call me, they want something.
Yes.
And if they got a purpose to call me, I'm going to make myself available. That's why sometimes when I'm on TV, you hear the phone ring. Because I serve. And I'm going to serve you some hot stuff tonight. I brought the pastor in there to keep me quiet.
Oh my goodness.
You know, when I think about black history, you know, I look at the good part of black history.
Yes.
And then I sit back and I think about all those Uncle Tom, Negroes that messed up a lot of our black history. They had worked against us and kept us where we were for so many years. But on that note, we're going to our first video, and we'll be right back. This is our Black History program, and I got Father Bayo to keep me in line tonight. Be right back.
Amen.
Oh, yeah!
enjoy the video. And what I've always done with this show is I always try to put some type of musical video in between what I'm doing or what I'm saying, so I won't be too boring to you. And you turn the station and look at somebody else on TV. I want you to lock in right here and stay right here.
Stay radar focused. Radar focused.
Now, originally you're not from America.
No.
So your black history, I can't tell you about your black history because I don't know what y'all did. But I can tell you what I've experienced in my lifetime doing black history. Now, a lot of times, you know, when we had our black history classes and celebration, they always try to talk about the safe blacks, the ones that might have stirred up a little trouble, but didn't stir up real trouble, like Carver Washington, Frederick Douglass, you know, those good ones. They don't tell you about the other blacks that fought. They just started talking about Harry Truman since the movie came out. But in the meantime, black folks had two things to work against them. They had the white folks that want to keep them in slavery, and they had black folks that were scared to get out of slavery.
Wow.
See, I'm going at you where you never been before in black history, because you never will hear somebody talk like I'm going to talk to you tonight. Now, I'm going back. I'm going to start my black history from 1977.
Why would you start it from there, my beloved brother?
See, I'm not going way back during slavery.
Okay.
Because sometimes we got to stop looking backwards and move forward. And 1977, right here in Richmond, Virginia, Richmond elected the first black mayor, who was Henry Marsh. And they elected the first majority black city council, which means black folks control the city of Richmond.
Are you telling me in 1977 there was the first elected, you say black mayor?
First black mayor.
And then a predominantly black city council. In 1977. That's about what, 40 years?
Yeah, I can't count. But that was the first time it was done, because they barely would let blacks get involved in politics. And what happened in city council was Reverend Curtis Holt, who had a 9th grade education, fought the city of Richmond about the annexation of Chesterfield and Richmond, and stopped city council elections for 7 years.
Amazing.
And won in court. And that's when they came up with the 9 different districts, because it wasn't fair to blacks, because blacks couldn't get elected. So they drew up a district so that blacks could elect their own kind.
Pastor Preston, you know, you just gave us some true history as it relates to because I'm now a new resident in Richmond. Actually, new meaning just 10 years ago, still new, and I didn't know this aspect of the history. One important point you did share at the beginning of this program, you talked about there are people that have been highlighted as our black heroes in light of. But such a figure, the man who had what you say, a 9th grade education. That is so. Please expand on that.
That's not everything.
No.
And lived in Creighton Court in the projects.
And he was the one who led this effort.
He was an activist, and he led it. The black lawyers didn't have faith in what he was talking about, and didn't represent it. He had to get white lawyers to get involved and represent what he was saying, and won the case.
Look at that.
But when you go in the history books, they talk more about the lawyer.
Not the person.
Not the person.
Spirit, the heart behind the foundation. This is, no, we have to, you've just given me, this is what we would focus on in our center this year. Not just this year, but beyond Black History Month, because we have to find the unsung heroes and sheroes that are not highlighted, and there are many. I believe that in my soul.
You don't want to highlight these people.
Why not?
Why not?
They need them.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Tell me why.
And you a minister.
Yes, tell me.
I'm gonna tell you why.
Why?
The reason they're really not highlighted is because they didn't have a plan. When they got elected, they didn't stick together. You tell me how a group of people can have control for 30 years and didn't accomplish anything for the black community. You tell me. 30 years. It won't 1 or 2 years. They control this city of Richmond, Virginia for 30 years. And they didn't put anything in effect to raise the black community up. They made it go down. The first thing that was done, and a lot of older people that's watching will know what I'm talking about, the first thing they did was destroy the Maggie Walker Football Classic. And a lot of folks been mad about that for years, but think about it.
Maggie Walker was the first richest woman.
She started a bank here.
But she was noted in the history books as one of the, at least the first millionaire or rich personalities.
But Maggie Walker had her issues with Negroes.
Interesting.
Maggie Walker opened up a department store on Broad Street, and black folks didn't support it. And she had to close down. When she opened her store up, she made it possible for you and the ladies and anybody else to go in the store and try on the coats, try on the hats.
Which you could not do in
You could not do in the white stores.
In other stores.
And
still she wasn't supported.
And some of y'all Negroes still prefer to go to the white store where you couldn't try on a hat. If you pay for something, you had to put the money on the counter. They throw your change on the counter, but you was happy.
My goodness.
You was happy.
Don't frighten me, Pa. I know I'm here to, but there's some things you're sharing.
You came here. You was over there in the motherland, but you found your way over here.
Yes.
But black folks have worked against black folks all the years. Now, not only did they slowly let black Richmond get away, there were more interest, our leaders were more interested in getting plaques all around Richmond saying that this was here, that was there. They want to fight to build a grave site, a cemetery, but they didn't fight for economics for black people. We don't want no recognition. We need money, like every other community.
Are you saying sometimes we misplace our priorities? What I kind of hear you saying, even when we are not handed, or after we've walked to a certain level to be on the table, we somehow then really misplace our priorities. Because why did we work hard? Why did we fight hard, so-called, to be on the table with them? And now you got to the table. You are even controlling the table. This what's what
you hit the point there. You said they're controlling the table and didn't do nothing with it. They were still under control of Main Street white folks when they were in charge of the city of Richmond. And you can tell it every time you walk out that door. When you walk through the city of Richmond, you can tell it.
It's sad. I want to say this, and Pastor Preston Brown, I know he prompted you by the audience today watching, and whenever you watched it, to say I'm here to kind of calm him down, but I'm here to tell him no, you don't have to calm down, because it's true.
I get wound up. I'm going to use that N-word tonight. Because some of y'all are.
And I can understand why there are many persons out there who are wound up, but how do we really unwind so that we don't get so wound up that we only, as you say, you don't want us to go to the past. We don't want to go
we'll
to...
get away.
But we want you to wind up enough so that we can move forward.
Yeah, we want you to know
something.
Why things are the way they are.
Yes.
And it ain't all white folks' problem. You know, we might have had slavery and we might have had segregation, but a whole lot of our issues were because of our people, not white folks. White folks opened the door for you to have go to public restaurant, public school, go anywhere you want it, they open the door. But when they open the door for you to come and be part of their community, you close the door on your own community.
Have mercy. Well, my brothers and sisters, I'm sure you've heard from quote other leaders who come on TV or online. You hear from them, but I don't know if you hear the type of passion and authenticity coming through. I've just known my brother, but if I feel I've known him way back, because there's a connection, because the story, what you're sharing, that's not a story, the narrative you're sharing
it's history.
Is the same history. We are still, we're not just, it's not history, it's still living story. Because I've been not told, I've seen it, I've witnessed it even in Africa. Let's use the analogy. I came to America to understand about the ice. You get ice from the same place. You get ice blocks. We use ice blocks, we call it ice blocks in hot Africa. Can you imagine? I heard that there's a white store across the street, there's a black store opposite each other on other sides, but somehow people would prefer the so-called white man's ice.
Right.
The same ice, so they went to the same place to get the same ice, but people would rather go across the street claiming the white man's ice. I don't understand that.
Not only
Please.
that, a lot of stuff that they want to get now it come from China. And it's sold by somebody from Pakistan.
But
or Iraq.
It's just strange that
or Korea.
We're talking about the same product, because it is handled by a different so-called pigmentation of skin. We ourselves, I'm talking about we ourselves, we cross the street. This young man or young store, this papa, mom and pops are selling the same ice block, but because it's mom and pop and the other store maybe has more years on them, looks brighter or whatever, we prefer.
Well, ain't that many of them now.
No.
Ain't that many black-owned stores now.
That's a sad.
And that because of what the community did. They didn't come together. They didn't stick together.
So what? Okay, let's go into this model. And one thing I'm appalled at, brothers and sisters, from a priest. Yes, Jesus also got appalled. He got angry. How do we? My question is now: how do we change this mentality? Because it seems to me that somebody did a good job in making us hate ourselves.
Well, you know the story about Lynch, Willie Lynch.
But again,
he told y'all it took y'all 300 years to get y'all act together.
Wow.
That's how much confidence he had in black folks. He said it take 300 years to get them Negroes back together.
No.
Because number one, they hate each other anyway.
Yeah. We have to change that, brothers and sisters. I'm here to share with you. There's so many histories Pastor Preston and others can put forward, which are true, and we need to hear the stories of, especially the unsung heroes, but also as we hear the issues and the problem. Now, what is the solutions? Is now, where I want to come in. I'm getting
ready to jump on your colleague.
Please, oh Lord,
you might leave. See. The church didn't help much either. The preachers didn't really educate. Now you had Martin Luther King or Vernon John. You had a few Pastor Jasper in Richmond that would stand up and fight and be a real man. But a lot of those blacks were cowards. They became homosexuals, and they danced at the tune of whatever money that the white folks put in their hand during election time. Because I remember as a kid, I grew up around in a black community, so I didn't see a lot of white people. But I remember I used to see white people come to our church and be presented as our representative. And everybody sitting in the church talking about, who is he?
That's impressive.
He get up here, I represent y'all, and I've been doing a good job for y'all. And time for election time, I need y'all to vote for me again. And the people are like, well, who is he?
He's your representative. Well,
and the preacher will stand up and say, he's a Democrat.
Pastor Preston.
But Frederick Douglass and all our leaders back then were Republicans.
The fact that you only even have, the fact that they only present, quote unquote, to the lesser of two evils for us to even vote, and the fact that, no, this is, forgive me brother, it's not a funny thing, but to look back and see such a scenario where there's a majority county or majority in the city of a certain color, quote unquote, pigmentation, and the person who is represented is of another pigmentation. How does that? I don't know. Please help me.
I represent you. We ain't never seen you. And guess what? After segregation moved out the way,
okay,
then we had the black politician come in and do the same thing. I represent you. And people say, well, who is he? We ain't never seen him. Wow. Now it's time to vote for me again.
Wow.
Because I'm speaking up for you.
Wow. Brother Preston is hitting on some brothers. If you're a pastor out there, like me, I want to tell this very clearly. One thing I've never done and will never do is to allow my congregation to be politicized, to use for politics. And why is this important? Listen to what Pastor, our great brother, just shared.
But let me add this while you're on that thought.
Okay.
You know, the law said government and church are separate.
Quote unquote, church and state separation, yes.
But how can the politician get involved in the church during election time and then disappear?
Yeah.
And now it's getting so bad that preachers want to be elected. Yeah. And I'm not criticizing preachers.
No.
Ain't nothing wrong with a preacher getting elected if he's going to do the right thing and have the right will.
I think that's where you're going. That's the truth. If the preacher again going to follow the same pattern, the same precedent that has been set, then this is the issue. So back to what I really would like to put as some type of solution, which I am practicing. One thing a preacher should never really tell persons is how they are going to vote. That's a no-no. Every human being, black or white, black or whatever, every human being is a sovereign being that must make their own decision. Meaning, we preachers or pastors in particular just provide the information, the policies of the parties of all, not just these so-called two demons we call Democrat and Republicans, because they're
afraid to speak up. They go along to get along. When you're elected, you are elected to represent the people in your community. Yeah. But when you get to your office, you represent the people that got money. And that's what our issue is, and that's where our problems have been. We elect the wrong people. Now, you got some good elected officials.
We have to say that. That's true. No, that's true. No, that's true.
Matter of fact, right here, where we're sitting, the supervisor, Reverend Tyrone Nelson,
amen,
he speaks up.
Amen. Amen.
And they were giving me a hard time giving me my license here.
Note that name, brothers and sisters. It's important we get connected to brothers and sisters who are stepping up and doing the right things.
I called him on the phone, and I got his answering service. I left a message, and about 10 minutes later, he called me right back. I almost dropped the phone because I never.
You never received a call from a public official.
I never had an official call me directly back that fast. But Tyrone Nelson called me right back.
Amen.
And I explained the situation to him.
And he took care of it. Amen.
And he said, I'll be there tomorrow morning.
Amen.
And when he came, he brought 3 white men with him.
Or the public officials to help the city.
The county manager and some other people, he brought them here. He sat down there. He said, look, whatever you got to do to get Mr. Brown open, I want to get him open. I had my paperwork in about 8 minutes. And I had been working on it 3 months. Going back and forth down the county building. You go talk to one person, they tell you got to do this, and then when you do it, they say, oh no, you did it wrong. You carry it to the next person. I had red tape.
Giving you the runaround.
Run around for 3 months.
For just a piece of paper.
Just for a piece of paper.
Amazing.
And I said, let me call him. Because I see him on Facebook talking about what's going on in the community, what he's doing. I said, I'm going to put him to the test. And the Bible said, who report do you believe?
Amen.
So I called him up.
Yes.
And he showed me right there that he was for the community. And he ain't scared, and he stand up for what's right.
What's his name again?
Reverend Tyrone Nelson.
Reverend Tyrone Nelson. Put that name in your heart, because this is very important, brothers and sisters. When we find one, that's all it takes to start a snowball effect. Is to find one.
And you know what got me?
Yes.
I saw it. Nobody told me. I saw it. The white folks had respect for him.
Amen.
And I know they respect him because he stood up as a man.
Yes.
And he stood up for his community. So they gave him respect that he earned. He ain't just sit back like some of them other Negroes we elect. Sit back.
And nod head to everything.
Just nod head. Don't say nothing. Don't speak up against nothing.
It sounds like that. You know those toys where when you're driving on the road, they nod to everything. But brothers and sisters, I want, because we are coming to a close and these conversations will continue. These are very important conversations. I really want to thank Pastor Brown for starting this. This is not a conversation that will end, because again, 1 month out of a year, I find that so ridiculous that's the only time even black folks somehow. Sorry, I should not even call you black folk, because that's a very, I don't like that word, even black folk. We the original folks should know this. That word, please put in your heart. We the original folks, meaning anyone out there seeking to do right by any pigmentation, but especially we us, because in Africa, listen to this, in the African land, there are varied pigmentation. There are those who are as white as people in Finland, in Morocco area, and even in South Africa, but they are all African. And this thing, why we are saying this is because all of us, all humankind, science has made it clear, come out of Africa. So if I and you as the original people don't behave right, don't know how to lead courageously, beautifully, to love each other, guess who is responsible? We are the parent being. We are the ones who are supposed to show others. But somehow we capitulate and we are looking for others to guide us. It should not be. Well, that's why I love you.
This came from Africa.
Yes, the Bible, it's in the land. And that's why I love these presentations that I pray we would continue under Joy Living Ministry, because in all of this, did you see him angry? No, you saw a smile on his face, because he has overcome a lot. He has experienced these things.
Yeah, because they tried to get me. Them Negroes tried to fix me, but they couldn't.
They couldn't fix you. You're tried. A different breed.
See, and I'm gonna tell it. I'll tell like this. When I ran for the Senate in 2011, I ran against Senator Henry Marsh, who was the first black mayor. One of the delegates came to me and told me, said, "Be careful, because he's very vindictive." And then he did a lot of stuff.